It is the Ray Longo Minute, the 100th Ray Longo Minute, because it's the 100th episode of the Anakin Florian podcast. Raymond, how are you today?
Man, I'm feeling good. I mean, did you ever think you'd make 100 episodes? Seriously?
I did not. I
mean,
thought Kenny would.
The over under was 8, so I think you far surpassed every expectation possible. Holy crap.
Yeah, I thought Kenny would have told me to pound sand after episode like 30 or something, but here we are on the brink of our 2-year anniversary.
And I'll tell you, something good.
Ray keeps me going. That's the only reason. Ray keeps me going.
Something good happened the other day. I did an interview. I can't think of who the heck it was, but the guy said Raymond Peter Longo, and I go, "Wow,
What?
you listen to that pod?" He goes, "He loves the podcast."
And that's
nice.
That's a big thing. You started something. Anytime somebody says Raymond Peter, I know where we got him from. I think that was a smart marketing move.
That's great. That's great. Oh, hey, if I didn't have a full-time job, I would try to manage the career of Ray Longo.
Oh, that would be pretty easy to do. You could do that out of your kitchen.
Well, no, I would. Hey, man, I mean, this is a feel-good show today, but we had Forrest Griffin on earlier, and I feel like he's one of the more listenable people in the world. And again, I've been hammering it on this podcast for 2 years. When we were starting this show, I was looking for people who I could listen to every week. And I'm sure you're a little sick of my voice at this point, as are UFC fans around the globe. But I felt like Ray Longo was as listenable as any coach that we could have on the show on a week-to-week basis.
Oh, that's very, very nice of you. But
all right, well, let's
even know what to say.
He's blushing.
I'm definitely blushing.
All right, so Monday, April 3rd, 5 days away from a massive fight for your boy Chris Weidman. You leave for Buffalo tomorrow or tonight? What's the word?
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave Wednesday. He left today. I'm gonna go up Wednesday, and yeah. But yeah, I had the last workout yesterday, and he looks great, man. I'm psyched. I'm nervous. I'm anxious, but it's gonna be a great night. I think. Right now, I think what we have is the old Chris Weidman, and that's exactly what I wanted for this fight. And I expect you to see a great fight. I really, really do.
What's the difference in Chris? Do you think is it that he's healthy? Is he adding more skills to his arsenal now? What do you think?
I'll tell you, it's more definitely healthy, and I think he made really smart decisions this camp. I mean, he really wanted to go to Brazil with Volante for his fight. He wanted to, corner Wonder Boy for his fight. But, we kind of said, listen, dude, this is a huge fight. And, you really got to concentrate and really stay focused. And I think that was it. He did some stuff. He did a couple of things that I think really are going to make a difference in this fight. And it's really just coming down to health is always paramount to me. So He is healthy, but he really I really trained him for a 5-round fight. I just want to take no chances, and he looks great. He sounds great, which is even better, and I'm sure he'll be great.
That's awesome. Now, what do you think about the main event? Who wins this, Rumble or DC?
I tell you, I think these guys both of them know exactly what they have to do to win. They know, they know what happened the first fight. I think, the problem with Johnson is that he does have a tendency to break. And, and my problem with DC is that I love him, literally love him as a fighter. And I even like him, as a commentator, everything. I just hope he put his eggs in the right basket and got the proper training because, he's not getting any younger either. And, I think it's something even like with Chris, you work your ass off to get to the top, and then, you kind of level out a little bit, you plateau, and then you got to come back. And, Johnson and Mousasi, both, they've never tasted what those guys have tasted, and they want to taste that. And I think that's where they're both really dangerous. So that's really where, they said that about Marvin Hagler. The guy defended his title like 14 times in a row, and they said just the consistency. Every training camp, he was on the money, never faded, and that's the deal. So I think that's what I tried to do with Chris, is really bring him back to, what got us there in the first place, and just, talk about that. And, really it's, you can't relax in this sport. Like, again, I always say, you're either all in or all out. And he was all in for this camp, and I really think you're going to see a difference. It's not even adding anything to his skill set. It's just making sure that his skill set that he has, he could do for 15 minutes every second of every round.
Most of his UFC fights have been 5-rounders, so kind of nice that he has a 3-rounder here. I mean, Kenny, how much did your training camps change for a 5-rounder versus a 3-rounder?
It definitely did for me. I mean, it's just more training. You got to be in better shape, so you're doing more rounds. There's a lot more sparring involved. There's a lot more conditioning involved. So over the course of the camp, I feel like it has the tendency of breaking you down a little bit more. It's a little bit more stressful,
without a doubt,
right?
Kenny. Yeah, without a doubt. So I tried to, again, I trained him for a 5-rounder, but, with what Kenny's saying, but not crushing him in areas where he could get hurt or he could weaken his body. Just, I really just amped up the cardio and I think the proper way. And, you can almost see it in his physique. I mean, he's real. People are saying, like he's on steroids. I really take that as a compliment,
Yeah.
And he's as clean as a whistle, and he just looks great. And again, sometimes you look great, you feel great. And when you feel great, you perform great. And, we still got 6 days to the fight. I want to write a book called Fight Week where, that by the time when the guy leaves you to fight night, there's a lot of things that could happen, So the weight cut goes good and the rehydration goes good. We're going to have a great night.
Can't wait for it. We will see you in Buffalo, New York. Ray Longo, and TJ tells me this is the 99th Ray Longo minute. TJ's good at sort of, playing spoilers. So it's not 100, I guess. But we thank you for it nonetheless, and we look forward to seeing you, buddy, in a few days, man.
Awesome, bud. I'll see you up there.
All right, Ray Longo with us.
Take it easy, guys.
If that said, first fight, Sean Strickland is 18-1. I mean, does the UFC not lead the league? And these guys like Michel Prazetic is 43-1. He can't get ranked. So here is Sean Strickland, 18-1, 5-1 in the UFC, betting underdog here against Kamaru Usman. Usman sees himself a future champion, Ken Flo. He's 4-0 in the UFC thus far. Derwin, we'll start with you. You like the favorite, Kamaru Usman, or the underdog, Sean Strickland?
I actually got to go Kamaru Usman. Strickland, it's been a little while since he's fought, and I think that's just going to go to his it's going to be more of a detriment to him, whereas Kamaru Usman's been a little bit more active. He's got the style to tire out Strickland. He tends to tire after a lot of grappling. So I'm going to go Kamaru Usman, and it's probably going to be one of those decisions that goes, the whole fight. But Sean Strickland will look to really put some ground and pound. I think he has some of the reach. He'll give him a bit of a problem at the beginning, but mostly Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, Sean Strickland, big frame for this welterweight division, so I think an interesting challenge at this time for Kamaru Usman. Strickland's won 3 in a row, but you're right, we haven't seen him since last June, split decision win over Tom Breeze. Kenny, Kamaru Usman well. You think he gets it done here against Sean Strickland this weekend?
I've really been a fan of Sean Strickland, man. I think he's very well-rounded. I think he's a smart fighter. I like his patience. And as you mentioned, a big 170. I just feel that Kamaru Usman has that style that's going to give a guy like Strickland problems. And, of course, that's going to be behind his very strong wrestling game. He's so good up against the cage. He's so good at forcing guys to fight his fight. I think he always comes in shape. He always fights smart. I think Usman gets it done by decision. Not going to be easy, but he wins this fight.
Like the method of victory there. No bonus points, but we like it regardless. All right, pay-per-view main card. Lightweight. Will Brooks. Minus 265 or so against Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. So here's Oliveira returning to 155 pounds. So he was at featherweight for 12 fights spanning 5 years. Missed weight 4 times. Now back at 55. Plus 220 underdog here. I think the price is intriguing. Oliveira versus Brooks. Derwin, which way you going?
Gonna go Will Brooks. He has the wins over the better competition, like guys like Michael Chandler and Ross Pearson. I mean, the whole thing with Alex Garcia last time was a weight mismanagement. He came in injured, so I think Will Brooks want to be fired up to just get this win, get back into contention. And gonna go Will Brooks by TKO in the first, actually, over Charles Oliveira.
Brooks, a physical lightweight, Kenny. Charles Oliveira, of course, still just 27 years old. long on UFC experience. He's also fought a lot of high-level guys, even though in those big showcase type of fights, Donald Cerrone, Anthony Showtime Pettis, he hasn't gotten the job done. You remember he had that injury in the main event against Max Holloway in Saskatoon. Your thoughts here, Charles Oliveira back at lightweight. How do you see it playing out, him versus Will Brooks?
Oliveira is a dangerous fighter. He's a guy who has a lot of ways to finish the fight on the ground, on the feet, has excellent knees. He's going to be a little bit taller, I believe, than Will Brooks. And I think he'll have more energy fighting at 155. I just think that the size and strength advantage is going to be a little bit too much on the side of Will Brooks. I think Will Brooks realizes how much he needs this win here against Oliveira. Will wants to get back on track. I think Will Brooks wins this one. I'll say, by decision as well.